If you're struggling with your portfolio, know that it's okay. Maybe you're tired of the red. Maybe you feel like you're falling behind. You're not overperforming the market, or you're not overperforming other investors you see on the internet. That struggle may be real, but that's the single threat to your success. I'm Eddie from Toko Alpha Mind, and today we are going to deep dive to understand why struggle does not mean failure and why you can still succeed even if you're not overperforming the market today. So let's get started. The first thing that you have to understand is that life is not linear, meaning that you are not going to grow and your portfolio is not going to grow in a very predictable way with always the same pace. Things are going to change, things are going to vary, and the way that your portfolio is going to grow and that you're going to succeed is going to have road bumps, is going to have acceleration. And so if you are struggling today with your portfolio, it does not mean that you're not on the right track. It just means that today, then it's not growing as fast as it could have been in other times. But I think that it's okay. Things are going to develop, not in a linear way, not always at the same pace, but it will take time. Rest assured that success will come. You will have wins, even if you have lost today. Even if you have losers today, you will have winners in the futures. Not everything is going to develop at the same pace as other people or as the market. So especially if you take some kind of contrarian view, I think it's okay. It's okay if things are not moving always at the same pace as everybody else. Success will come. You still need to be assured of that. You still be confident in yourself and in your judgment. And that's how you will succeed in the long term. If you are frustrated by your portfolio, if you feel that you're falling behind and things are not developing fast enough for you, not getting rich fast enough, well, you have to realize that great things take time. Not everyone is actually making all the riches and getting all the money very quick. As Warren Buffett says once, no one wants to get rich slowly. And I think that's a problem because in order for your thesis and in order for your investment to actually grow and develop, you have to be patient. Great things takes time. And same for investing. Great investments take time to develop. So you have to wait, you have to be patient, and you have to be confident in yourself and trust your judgment that you're going to win playing long-term games. We've seen that not everything is growing linearly, not everything is growing slowly and compounding like at a steady pace. And we've seen also that great things take time. You have to play long-term games. But what's important is that even if you're frustrated today, do not chase, do not FOMO, meaning do not have a fear of missing out. If you have a great plans, if you invest in quality companies, I think that's a big first step. You don't have to chase all the fancy stocks, all the hype stock that everybody is talking about, like Palantir, for example, because this is what actually hampers your growth because you jump from one stock to another. You're trying to find the next winner, even though you have the winner already in your portfolio. It's just that the theses are not developed yet, and it's going to be a winner tomorrow, not today. That's it. So don't chase. That's not going to work. You're going to lose actually, because maybe it's going to work once, but most of the time, if you arrive late, if you arrive after the party, then you're kind of the bag holder, meaning that the valuation is already sky high, and then you just come trying to get another buck on top of what has already been made by everyone. Of course, there are exceptions like Bitcoin, for example, where you could have come late to the party and still make a lot of money. But let's be honest, like who is going to make a 10x on Bitcoin right now? So it's very difficult. The reality is that you should not chase. As a principle, you should not chase and you should not FOMO, because from experience, it always ends well. It always ends bad. And so that's, I think, a core lesson that you should incorporate, you should include in your investing. And if you're young, maybe you don't believe that, but that's the reality. And I think that it's going to be a tough lesson for a lot of you if you don't believe it. Then if you're struggling with investing and if you're struggling with your portfolio, well, know that this is normal. Investing is hard. It's played by the best or the most intelligent people on the planet. It's not supposed to be easy. If it's easy, then like everybody would actually be successful at investing. Well, there is an easier game, which is just like buy the S&P 500 by index fund, But if you choose to invest in individual securities, if you choose to try to overperform the market, this is going to be hard. So that's normal that you are struggling with your portfolio. And on top of that, one thing you have to realize that you will never be able to be optimal. You will never be able to be perfect. So you will make mistakes, or you will make decisions that are not optimal or perfect. And that's totally fine. That you have to accept. You have to be a mature investor and recognize that you will never catch a bottom. You will never catch a top. And you have to be rational. And also, so if you're struggling, maybe you have to make simpler things first. You have to simplify the whole framework that you are working in. You have to simplify your investing game, because most of the gains, they don't really come from complex investment. They usually come from first principles applied to investing. And so that's why you should actually be a bit kind of yourself. Investing is hard, especially psychologically, especially in terms of mental fortitude to be able to invest your own money and take accountability. Then if you're struggling with your portfolio, just remember, struggle does not mean failure. Doesn't mean that you're failing at investing or that you are a failure yourself. I think that it's perfectly fine to have some difficult times with your portfolio, to not always overperforming the market. And so if you have lower returns as investor, it means that it will come at a different time. You have to believe that. But also, don't compare yourself too much with others, because first, comparison is a thief of joy, meaning that you are on your own path, then you will have your own wealth. So there's no point for you to compare yourself to others, because what is it going to show you? So if you underperform or if you overperform, does not mean that you are a better or a worse investor than others. Maybe the timing is just different. So that's the point. You should not just actually compare yourself to others. It does not make any sense. And I think a very important point to understand is that you don't have all information from other investors. You don't know when they enter into a stock, when they actually sell a stock, or even in terms of performance. Like, the performance that you see is not always the true performance. So let's take an example. So for investor for Alibaba, so investor in Alibaba have been actually like stuck in the stock for like years now. But do you know who are the best performer in 2025? Investors in Alibaba. So they are up like at least 50 or 60% just because, like, if you select the right time frame, then you're overperforming. And what happens is that if you are too much online and if you're looking only at others, then you will think that all the time there are other people overperforming what you're doing. But the reality is that everybody's struggling in a sense. So that's not just you if you're struggling today. And it does not mean that you are a failure and that you're going to fail going forward. It just means that investing is not linear, investing is hard, and you have to accept this reality that not everything is going to be smooth and easy. So for this very quick video, I really wanted to support you if you're struggling with your portfolio. I think that this is very understandable. And I think that all investors, they're going through periods where it's very difficult. And so I think as an investor, we have to recognize and appreciate these moments, because sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. And it doesn't mean that at the end of the day, we cannot be all successful. It's not a zero-sum game. And I think that as investors, we have to remember this core principle. Investing, like life, is not linear. Not everything grows at the same pace. Then you should actually be patient, because great things takes time. Great thesis takes time to develop, and you should play long-term games. Also, like, don't chase, don't FOMO. Like, it's okay to miss like opportunities like Palantir or HIMS, because it does not mean that you will always succeed by doing this. And the later you come to the party, the more risky it is for you. As well, you also have to remember that investing is hard. A lot of brilliant people are doing investing just like you. So it's not easy. And so that's normal that you have some times where you are struggling, because psychologically, mentally, taking accountability and being able to actually invest your own money is not easy. And we have to recognize this fact. And finally, you should stop comparing yourself to others, because it does not make you or does not bring you any good to try to compare to others, especially if you don't have the same basis of comparison and all the information to compare. So overall, I think that I really hope that you will still continue to invest your money, because this is very important for you to reach your financial goal. And if you're interested in other analysis and investing wisdom, please check my other videos. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in another one. Bye.